Hi there guys, this is National Tesla In The Gong. I'm here at the Everything Electric show arranged by Fully Charged Live. As you know, this is happening in Sydney at the Dome Olympic Park. And there are loads and loads of companies here who brought their vehicles here, both in the commercial sector as well as in the consumer sector. The important questions that everyone who wants to get into an EV has to be answered. And we thought the best way to do it is with my good mate Vijay, who is here. He is looking for an EV. Most important thing here is he's not sure what he wants, but he has a few basic things that he wants satisfied. And we're going to go through the questions, and then we'll see if we can suggest a car for him. We'll show him a few cars that is here, and then let him make the choice. Okay, Vijay, without further ado, let's start this. Now, what are you looking for? You want to get into EV, so what are you looking for?
But in terms of EV, my budget is like I need a SUV.
Okay, SUV first. Okay.
SUV predominantly like 5 to 7 seater.
5 to 7 seater, okay.
The rear seat should be a bit high for old people.
Okay.
Kilometer wise, I think it should be reasonable, like 450 per charge, I guess.
Okay, so around 450 kilometers a charge. You want 5 or 7 seater.
Yeah.
You want a nice tall seat for the rear for older people to get in and get out.
Suspension should be relatively not sportish, but reasonably.
So you're not looking for a sporty car, but you want a good family car.
Family car, yeah.
And also must be child friendly as well as elderly friendly.
Elderly friendly.
So that is top questions that most people have to ask. There are other questions that you can ask, and your situation may be a little bit different, but this is a great start, isn't it? So we can start looking for cars in that sector. And I think I have a couple in mind. I'll show you a 7-seater to start with, and then we'll show you a 5-seater after that. Let's go. Right, so here we are at the B Carwise stand, and they have the Kia EV9. I must say, they're the only ones who have the Kia EV9 here in the show. And the car that is available for test drive as well, they do have the EV9 Air, and that is a gorgeous vehicle, and I want to show this. And I have a separate video on the EV9 and stuff, but the important thing, Vijay, here, this is the EV9 Air can be got through Novated Lease, because these guys, B Carwise, they do Novated leasing of their cars, and you know that the fringe benefit tax exemption is there if it is a sub $89,000 car. And because they have a good deal with Kia, these guys would be able to get you the car in sub $89,000, and so you can do it in Novated Lease with the FBT as well, with FBT exemption as well. If that is something like this that you're looking at. Okay, let's jump in and let's have a look at the car as well.
Sure.
I'll ask you to jump into the driver's seat.
Yeah.
So here we are in the Kia EV9. It is a gorgeously appropriated vehicle, I must say. Very futuristic looks. The full video that we have will have all the details. But is this something that you'd probably look at?
This is pretty amazing, yeah.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's underside lighting there.
Yeah.
When you put the foot on the brakes, that'll pull up all the lighting. Comfortable seats. How is the ground clearance?
Pretty good, yeah. It's nice. Nice high view.
Nice high view, isn't it?
Yes.
Now let's jump into the rear as well, and I'll show you the rear too.
Wow, this is pretty good.
It is glorious seats there.
Yeah. Oh man. This is pretty awesome.
But you can bring this out as well and bring it forward too. It is not powered up now, but you can actually pull this forward and look at the third seat there at the back as well.
The size is pretty good at the back.
Yeah. So, what do you think of this?
It's pretty amazing, yeah.
So the base version starts at sub 90, I believe.
No, you said something about
fringe benefit tax.
No, before that, you said something about
Novated lease.
Yeah, novated.
So these guys at B Carwise, they do novated leasing. That's their main job. So if you want to go through your company through novated leasing, this is a car that you could look to buy. And I think that is a pretty good buy, isn't it? 7-seater you wanted?
Yeah. So is this you mentioned this is salary sacrifices, right? So the actual MRP is different, or what's the deal?
I'm not sure of the full details. The B Carwise are the guys who will probably be able to tell you more details about that.
But this car is pretty good.
Radio, I'm here with Frank from B Carwise, and we're going to ask him a few questions about the Novated Lease, or rather I'm going to let Vijay ask the questions so that he can answer, he can get a suitable answer which may work for him. Take it away, Frank. So what does this Novated Lease involved and whatever questions you have,
Yeah.
I'll give over the mic so that you guys can ask the questions.
Yeah, no problem. No, you can ask.
Sure. I mean, first off, I'm not familiar with what is Novated Lease and how does it benefit
Yeah,
just from buying outright or taking a car loan or things like that, right? Or what?
fancy. Look,
Yeah.
great question.
Yeah.
Novated lease is a lease-to-own arrangement where the car basically would be registered, insured, and loaned under your name.
Mhm.
So for all intents and purposes, the car is yours.
Right.
Now, the benefit of that in comparison to a normal typical loan arrangement is you get to salary sacrifice the repayments for the vehicle along with its running costs
Okay.
to your employer, which
Right.
means basically that you get to pay for the car using pre-tax dollars.
Pre-tax money. Yeah.
I'll hold the mic for you guys. Go for it.
Now, the only thing though that's a caveat on that is the car has to stay under the luxury car tax limit,
Yeah.
which currently stands at 89,332 for
Yeah.
on roads.
Okay.
And what sort of car are you looking at the moment as far as in the market?
Yeah, like I mentioned, a 5 to 7 seater SUV.
Yep.
My upper bounds is the 90.
Yep.
Starting is of 60 to 70, but yeah, this is within that range.
Absolutely. So look, in the current market for full EV, this is probably the only car that can stay under that the luxury car tax threshold, and it's the Air, the entry level version of it.
Yeah.
Now, so and to get the Novated lease going, basically the first thing we sort of generally ask is because it's an employer arrangement or employer benefit, your employer has to be able to be okay to provide you that benefit.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Now, did you have any other questions as far as
No, I think I'm good. So I should contact my employer and get the things going out, right? Like.
Yeah, well, we can do that on the side. We can
Yeah.
start talking to you about numbers on the car itself as well. Tell you
Yeah.
effectively how much the car is going to cost you per pay cycle.
Sure.
And then on the same time, we can have those conversations with your company to see whether it can be.
Frank, may I interject here? You want to give a small breakdown because this is going into the video where people want to make this choice of buying a car, maybe through Be Carwise, maybe through Novated Leasing. And can you give us just ballpark numbers? I know we can't get into specifics, but ballpark numbers for, let's say, a Kia EV9 Air white version.
Yep. So right now, if we go, the rough numbers we did on this car today was the Air version, obviously, over 3 years with 15,000 kilometers per year. The out-of-pocket cost is about $380 per week.
Okay.
Now that's a net impact to your take-home pay.
Okay.
So that's the 3 years. That's generally ballpark figure at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens after 3 years?
Now after 3 years, there is a balloon payment / residual value, what we call it in our industry. So that's if you're looking at owning the vehicle right after 3 years, all you need to do is pay that value plus GST, and then you own the car right at that point.
Okay.
Now, if you don't want to do that, there's also other options, right? You can refinance that residual value to further term, so you can keep making repayments through salary sacrifice.
Yeah.
Or sell the car at the time if you want to change over to a different model, different new one. As long as the residual value is completed, then the liability is removed from your name.
Fair enough. Is that 3 year or 2 years? What's the minimum like?
What's
the
you
recommended?
can have the lease running is 12 months, and the longest is 5 years.
Okay.
Now, the general differences between those is the longer you have the lease running, the smaller the impact to your take-home pay gets, naturally because you have a lot longer to make more repayments towards the car.
Okay.
And it also has a smaller residual value at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good, I think.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, man.
No
Thank
problem.
you very much. Appreciate this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
This is something that you look at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
So there you go. So almost immediately we have found a compatible kind of a car, 7-seater, sub 90. The Air starts at around that range. It is slightly over, but if you go through the Carwise or somebody like that, or if you want to do like a Novated Lease kind of a picture, you can get it at a slightly lower price. I don't know the full details, but again, we can go through it. Maybe a little bit more on the slightly over the 90 you may want to look at, but that's that. And this car is well appropriated even for the Air. So there are 3 versions for this car. The top version is over the 130 mark, I believe. The medium version is around the 105, 107, I think. But the smaller version is the Air, the Earth, and the GT. This is the Air. So this is the GT, but the Air is there on display. And it has got a lot of interesting features. Some of the top features, I'll say, the large screen is there.
Yeah.
It has both the heated and cooled seats. And I think it's a great car. It's something if you want to look at.
Sure, that sounds interesting.
Okay, we'll set you up with a test drive.
Yeah.
Then you decide, dude.
Sure.
I'll show you a few other cars too, but this is the crux of this video. We want to show people that we can make a choice depending on what you want. So if you know what you want, you can look at something like this. And there are a lot of folks here. And again, I'm not being paid by Be Carwise, so it is not a sponsored video at all. I just met them. I saw what they're doing. It sounded interesting to me. I thought I'll share this with you. But for details, you should contact them and get more details on this. I'll see you guys in another interesting video very soon. Until then, this is Nash from Tesla and the Gong signing off. Peace.